to learn the elements of design and the principles of design. So I use these colors symbolically to match up the design, texture, emphasis, values, contrast, color, rhythm, form, movement, and shape. And then we add another universal element that I studied from Harvard teachers about universal concepts and how you link them with the elements of art to learn about ourselves. But it's a little abstract. It will be much more simple when I have the time to explain it. So, okay, the next one. These are all paintings of the same thing, but they're expressed a little bit different on a different aspect of a circle. But this is about circulation and turning and moving, and it's expressed in color and shape. But it's talking about, how we, even an example of being on this planet, it's such a quiet move, but in 1 year, we travel through the whole universe. And sometimes if we have a moment, we recognize the wonder of it all. And this is a map, a diagram talking about the inner exploration as well as nature's dance around the sun, so to speak. Very abstract, but the work is abstract, but it's grounded very much in experience. It's not an intellectual thing, even though it sounds like it when I explain it, but it's really a process of interiorizing or recognizing the divinity that is in each and every one of us. The next one. This one, again, it's if you look at it geometrically, it's a square. If you can follow the square toward the empty space, you can see it tilted. And within that, there are 6 different panels. And each of those panels are sort of a representation of how we experience things. For instance, the bottom one, even, there are 2 sides to everything, but I am going to, because this is kind of expressing the positive part, I'm going to tell you the negative part of how I got to the positive. So the bottom is symbolic of hell, for lack of a better word. But I heard a great story about hell. There was a story that this young person wanted to know what hell was like. So this special being took this person to hell, and there was a big, large dinner table. And everybody was about to eat, and was a big feast. And as they started to pick up their forks grew 3 feet long, and they couldn't feed themselves. So they suffered. So the man said, well, what is heaven like? So he said, okay, let's go to heaven. He took them to heaven. Same banquet table, same food, same fork. And when they got ready to eat, the forks grew 3 feet long. But instead of crying and complaining about it, they fed each other. They put the fork across the table and fed each other. And they had a feast. So that was the idea of heaven and hell. But each one of these little sections are symbolic of a quality that we try to overcome. The one on the right is what they call hungry spirits, always desiring, never enough. The one to the left is they call it animal spirits, meaning territory. This is mine, this is not yours. The one at the top right is what they call fighting spirits. They're never satisfied, they're always fighting. And then the one on the very left is called the human world. The human world where we need to overcome doubt. And the one at the very top is what they call Dharma protectors, those things that we have faith in to carry us over so much conflict. But they're all interrelated and they're not separate. They're about as solid as a square. but they can be loosened and transformed into, oh, what do they say? And turn hell into heaven with our attitudes without denying it. So anyway, there's many lessons in the paintings. And the next one. I don't know how much time I have, so I'll go a little quicker. This one is, again, patterns, and the patterns are holding the geometric shapes that express the nature of nature. In other words, to the far right, you can see at the bottom of the yellow square, it's symbolic of everything of the earth. The next one is a round circle, symbolic of water. And the one in the middle is symbolic of fire. And the next one, wind and air. And the last one of space or sky. Anyway, it's a sort of a grid to kind of begin a thinking process. But they're just basic designs if you look at them. But they function in many ways. People do not have to go through all what I did. They can enjoy them just for what they are. But they are more than what they appear to be. Okay, I think there might be a couple more, I'm not sure. Yes, and this one, the basic intent with this is that the center is everywhere, meaning that which we see is everywhere and in everything. And this is sort of an illustration of that process. Once we find our center, then the world comes into harmony. We can't create harmony without being the solution ourselves. And there are ways to do that. And every tradition, every culture, every civilization has a unique way to find themselves back to the center. So hopefully we can begin to dialogue with each other and find respect and heal ourselves in these times. The next one, this is called abstract earth. And it's, it's a composition about earth and its relationship to many, many things. I think that's the last one. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. And I apologize if I got too abstract.
That is the last one, and I'll take us back to the screen where we can see you.
Okay.
Is everybody back now?
Feel free.
So unmute yourselves, and you may ask questions. If it gets too wild, I'll jump in.
How large are these pieces, Matthew?
They're in the range of 7 feet, 6 feet, 5 feet. Yeah.
Wow. And what is your medium? Are you using
collage? Or maybe?
Is it collage?
No, medium is actually acrylic paint, matte acrylic paint on plywood.
They're really beautiful and inspirational. Thank you.
That was wonderful. That was just amazing.
Matthew, have you always painted in the hard edge style?
Beg your pardon?
Have you always painted in the hard edge style? No
No,
blending?
really new since I've come to Thailand. I couldn't get all the equipment that I needed in Thailand. I used to paint in hot wax in color and gold leaf. But I could get the gold leaf, but I couldn't find the wax. So I had to recreate my work. These are the first times I've ever done these paintings before in my career. So, but I'm glad that they came out well. I had a lot of emotional support around me. So
What is
I'm
the
glad you
support?
enjoyed it.
Wood or canvas? What is the support for the paint?
Support, they're regular canvas stretcher bars over thin plywood.
Pardon? Could you repeat that?
They're like plywood over stretcher bars.
Oh,
My career started with geometric shaped canvases, but I couldn't afford it. But when I came to Thailand, the prices are so much different, and then you get the same quality. So I was able now in my senior years to go back to when I was in my 20s and 30s and work with the geometric canvases. So I was very happy to do that.
Matthew, where in Thailand do you live?
I live about 3 hours from the city of Bangkok. We live in the countryside, a small farm town that has a farm university. So it's to the south of us is just fields and fields of sugarcane. Right now it's been harvested, so you can just see for the sky and earth. It's just really wonderful.
Wow.
I had to leave the United States because I didn't have enough money to survive, actually. And my wife is from Thailand, so we took a chance, and it was hard the first 3 years being without language, culture, food. But the people were so kind and so embracing, so I was able to keep working. And
Have you had COVID there? Any problems with the COVID virus? Is it there?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last words.
COVID.
Have you had COVID?
Now, this is yes, it's here, but this is a learning lesson. You know what they did when they first came here? All the monks, thousands of them, Buddhist monks, decided that every morning, noon, and evening, they would pray for the whole country. And they did. And right now, there has not been a new case of the disease for 1 month.
Wow.
And now, there was 4 new people, but they were Thai people that came from overseas to want to come home. But they're healed. And the people are so cooperative. They have respect for each other. Old, young, new. They speak, I've never seen a culture so, they practice goodness without the thought of being good. It's just natural. I'm amazed. The doctors have solutions for healing the disease. They can heal it here. I don't know why they don't talk about it on the news.
Because it's good news.
Matthew,
yes.
Is the Thai culture, are they drawn to predominant colors? I just see this explosion of color. Beautiful, but are there predominantly certain colors that the Thai culture is?
The colors are the same all over the world, but the way they organize them and the patterns may be different. Each culture uses color in a different pattern, but essentially, color is color, and the differences of what I observe is in their patterns and maybe in their intensity or their quietness. As far as normal dress, they're pretty much Western. Unless you go way out in the country, or the mountain people, they have a traditional way of dressing. And basically, the foundation of their colors is black, and then they sew over the top of them beautiful, radiant colors. They're called the mountain people. And they're incredible people, but they kind of stay with themselves. And a lot of them are farmers. And there's a wonderful story here that their leader, who's passed on, at least the 9th king, the mountain people they grew the opium and drugs. And instead of putting them in jail, the king went to them and taught them how to grow food. And so now they're so wealthy, they supply food for the whole country. He taught them how to plant and how to deal with things. And it's amazing kind of person he is. I mean, they think not of themselves first, they think of others first. I've never experienced this before till I got here. And, I'm barely learning it, but that's how they live. They live for others. They realize that, the sense of family, they start with family. I see such incredible behavior. Children who are very successful in a job and their mother gets sick, they quit and go home and take care of their mother. Why? Because they understand that without the mother, they'd have never even been on this planet. It's amazing. I mean, it's simple thoughts and actions, but it's really incredible. I hope that I can share even a little bit of that coming home, because I think we have great potential. And this thing that we're going through now, it's just like cleaning house. There's something brighter on the other side. I think we all have the ability to get there together, not leaving anyone. Once we understand that everything that we don't like about others is really inside us too. So we got to clean ourselves up too. And when we clean ourselves up, we help the other one to clean up.
Absolutely.
I like what you're saying, but I'm also concerned about the politics in Thailand, and some of the areas are not as safe. What do you think about that?
What areas are you speaking about?
Some of the outer islands.
Outer islands of Thailand?
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the Philippines. Forget that.
One world.
Okay. So I apologize. I take that back.
No problem.
Matthew, Matthew, when you lived in Los Angeles, I used to be a substitute teacher, and I remember you coming into my classroom a couple of times to teach art for PS Arts.
Oh, yes.
And you may you may possibly have known my daughter Leah, who also taught for PS Arts.
Oh, if I see an image of her, I'm sure I recognize her. Sometimes
that's okay. But I wanted to say that I loved your encaustic work, and I went to see an exhibit or two of your work when you were in Los Angeles. And the work you're doing now is so different, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I really appreciate your sharing it with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know that you had moved to Thailand, so that was news.
Are you coming back to Los Angeles for this show at the African American Museum?
Yes, I will be there. Yes.
And will it be the work that you've shown us which is huge, really?
Plus installation. It'll be integrated with an installation. Yes, a full installation.
Yeah.
Of sand paintings and ground paintings. Yes.
And Matthew, I worked with you also at the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. You were the artist in residence.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and I learned a lot from you. It was a great experience, and I based my thesis on that experience. So, and I've used it, the masks and everything over the years with children.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's wonderful to hear from you. Yeah. That was quite an experience. I learned a lot from those kids.
Yeah, so did I.
I was trying to teach one of the students who had just lost his leg. I was so upset looking at him and he looked straight in my eyes and he said, Mr. Thomas, stop freaking out on and teach me some art.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I will.
Well, does anyone else have any questions?
No.
So.
Okay.
It was
Thank you
wonderful.
all so much for your
Thank you.
patience.